Hi everybody, it's Sam again. So, today I would like to talk about a project that my friend Robert and I are doing about Netflix. So, first of all, we have been brainstorming around ways to get audio description in more places and more accessible to different people on different TV shows that might not necessarily be on TV right now, or be in the limited amount of stuff, shows that are allowed or that are mandated on that primetime 21st century audio description law that was passed recently about you need to have, the TV networks need to have certain, like 4 hours a week of primetime TV and all that. So we eventually decided that a good way to try and increase this is to have, figure out how to get audio description on Netflix. And because we learned that Netflix has more subscribers than HBO or DirecTV, and that it just seems like it draws in such an audience that so many people would learn about audio description if it were available on there, and so many people would that are blind would be able to access TV shows on there. So that is a big project, and we have made contact with a lot of audio description people, both like bigger companies, but also some freelance audio describers that have been very nice and have been willing to be very helpful, answer our questions. There was even one that was willing to, if Netflix was willing to audio describe another of their shows that they had audio described, they were willing to describe a show for free to sort of show Netflix what it's about, the audio description. And then, and in return, Netflix would have one of their shows that's already on there that's like made by the Netflix people, like that House of Cards show or whatever, audio described. So that's pretty cool that they would be willing to do that for free and everything else. We just need to get to the right person. And we're having a hard time contacting anyone at Netflix, either for that project or for the other project that we're doing, which I'll get to in a minute. So yeah, that's basically, Netflix already has like 90% of its content closed captioned. So I don't understand why it wouldn't be a problem to start to do audio description. Now, the one thing that I think is a problem, and that Robert and I have learned over the past few weeks, is how expensive audio description is. We had no idea that it was going to cost, first we talked to a company that said, something about they would give us a discount and it would cost like $500 each episode to do a show. And I was like, okay, we were kind of like, what? That's a discount, really? But then and somebody else said the same thing, that they would give us a discount and it would be like $850, to do an hour of a show. And we asked them, we're like, is this the regular rates of things? And they're like, oh no, that's not the regular rates. The regular rates is like up over $1,000 at least. Because I guess it takes so much work to write the script of what's going on the screen and then record it and then mix it with the audio. Now there's this new thing called like DX, I think it is, that is like you make the audio description a separate track that plays alongside the show audio rather than being mixed. I believe that's how it works, and that might be a little bit cheaper. But doing it the other way costs so much money, and we had no idea. Like I said, that definitely is a issue. I don't know. I guess that's why they had to make it into a law to say, okay, somehow you guys have to pay for at least 4 hours of this a week, But, that we had no idea. And I don't know, the UK seems to have more audio described stuff, like 20% or something, which I don't know how much we have, but I don't think it's 20%. And I just don't know how they pay for it. And even we made contact with somebody in the UK, and they're like, I had no idea it was that expensive, in the US or even in the UK. So we need to figure that out. But that is definitely one thing we're going to keep doing. And it's a long project, and we know it's not going to happen overnight. And we know some people are probably not going to be too thrilled about having to pay for this. But, eventually I think that hopefully we'll run into the right people and, make some progress, and it'll just be a long-term project. Our second project is and this is a separate kind of thing. Although they are related. I mean, the more shows we have on Netflix, the more that we can eventually have audio described. But this is just a separate thing of wanting to get more shows that we like onto Netflix. And, you can call Netflix, the number, and I did. I requested, like, Degrassi, and I requested Starting Over on, to be added. And the woman said, oh, yeah, we'll write it. She wrote it down and said she'd look into it. But, they get so many phone calls. I mean, I'm sure she would look into it, but they get so many phone calls that I know it'll take, like, forever for her to even, get to the request that I put in. So Robert and I don't wait around for stuff to happen if we can do something about it. So we're trying to see how we can get shows onto Netflix, and we're learning a little bit about it. And that's how it happens is, I guess, the producers of the show and Netflix sort of agree on this license thing where the show is licensed to be on Netflix for a certain period of time, like a year or 2 years or something, and then it gets renewed. It's not like Netflix has the rights to the show. It's like they're sort of renting the show for a little while, and they actually pay a fee to the production people to do this, which I thought was pretty cool because that makes them a little bit happy about being able to do this because they'll get paid a fee. Now, I don't know. We have connected with the production company at Starting Over. We have a very nice man who's in the legal department who we have contacted around Starting Over, and originally on another issue, but now we're trying to talk to him about just getting the show on to Netflix, not worrying about the audio description part of it for now because it's very complicated and it's going to take some time to figure that all out. But if it's on Netflix, at least we can watch it, and it'll just be good to at least have it on Netflix. So he hadn't heard of this licensing process, and he didn't know very much about it, and so we're trying to figure out who we can talk to on this. And it's just frustrating because there aren't very many email addresses on the website, and I even called the place and they said, well, the best way to get a hold of anybody is by the email. And I'm kind of like, okay, do you guys not have telephones? But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just they're such an online company that they just figure they'll just do it this way, all through the internet. But it is frustrating when you actually want to talk to a real person, a person over the phone, in person, not through the email. But yeah, I mean, we read some articles about it, and it seems pretty straightforward. Except for there's this thing where, like, lately a bunch of shows are being taken off Netflix, and I don't really understand why. All of a sudden, it's like their license deals like expired, and they didn't renegotiate it, or something went wrong. So all these shows are just being taken off, which I think is kind of sad. But maybe we can get them back on. Like, a lot of them are like weird movies I never even heard of, but some of them are like kids shows, like Rugrats and all that. And kids need stuff like that to watch. So, and one of them was like Hey Arnold, and Robert likes Hey Arnold, and so anyway, I was wondering if any of you knew anything about this licensing process. If you're from like a production company or from Netflix, that how this works, and if you could just let us know in a private message, that would be great, or under the comments, and we would really appreciate it. And also, for Starting Over, just because it's an older show and some people have never even heard of it, and Netflix might not have ever even heard of it, and they're like, what is this show? And we know that this man that we're working with at B&M and Murray is doing everything he can to help, and we're sure Netflix will be workable with it, once we talk to them. But, just so we can show everybody that there's interest, we're going to put out an online petition to get Starting Over on Netflix. And we'd really like it if you could support signing this to get Starting Over. If you watch the show Starting Over and you want to see it on Netflix, or if you've heard of it, or if you've heard me like obsess about wanting to watch it and you want me to just be quiet, shut that Sam girl up by signing this paper. But no, just, I will make a separate video that'll go on the website, on the petition, that'll say more on, what the show is about and why we think it should be on Netflix, and how it had, been so popular back in 2006, and how so many people liked it and everything else like that. But just to let you know that that's coming up, that we will be putting out a petition on Starting Over to get it onto Netflix. So that's our projects that we're working on for now. One of them, anyway. We keep very busy. But if you have any comments or thoughts, feel free to let us know. And I look forward to talking to you soon on this. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
My movie, ribbons, web, stop buttons.